Looking at all of Houston is like watching a moving kaleidoscope. Into the bright pattern come the people of many heritages who have joined together. The changing colors show the evolution from its origins as a tiny village of the early 1800s to an oil boomtown. And let's not forget NASA. Traveling with Pennies is delighted to assist you with your traveling adventures by exploring the cheap, but nonetheless exciting side of Houston. "40 years ago, Lainey Vaidakakis was a popular singer touring Greek nightclubs from Athens to LA. She then fell in love with a man who loved food. They married and eventually landed in Houston. With only $50 in their pocket, they signed the lease on a storefront and moved their family into the house behind it. With a partner, they opened a fruit stand. They both had sons named Nikos, so they named it Nico Nikos. At one point, her husband gave up on the place, wanted to sell everything, and move back to Greece. He left, but Eleni stayed, keeping the business alive and building it into what it is today, a crowded restaurant presided over by a woman who won't stop working. She was a tyrant, remembers her son, Demetrios. She fired him almost every day, that is, until he bought the place." Bayou Bend, the beautiful house with a romantic name, was designed as a private residence for Miss Hogg and her brothers, Will and Mike. Miss Hogg created a series of gracious and beautiful gardens that were intended as outdoor rooms for living and entertaining. She was also appreciative of the wilder side of nature, and she always intended that the surrounding woodlands remain more or less natural, as they are today. In 1957, Miss Hogg donated her home and her collection to the Houston Museum of Fine Arts. Cleveland Turner always liked flowers. He came to Houston in 1961 to visit a friend on his way to California, though he never made it there. They call him the Flower Man. He looks amazingly fit for his age, pedaling 10 miles a day to his AA meetings or scouring the richer Houston neighborhoods in search of prime junk. Cleveland spent 17 years as a homeless man, sleeping in old empty houses and under bridges. One night, he was found on the street, laid out for dead, and rushed to a hospital where he was treated for alcohol poisoning. His flotsam and floral epiphany came towards the end of his 5-week wheelchair-bound recovery. A few days before they released him from the hospital, he had a vision.
That vision was just made put up out of junk, so I want to see it wasn't just as pretty as that vision in my head, and it is.
The Art Car Parade was born in April 1988 with the 40-car parade seen by an estimated 2,000. Today, the Art Car Parade enters its 22nd year as the highlight of a 3-day celebration of the Drive to Create Art Car Weekend. The parade attracts more than 250 vehicles and a live audience of some 250,000. Parade entries include anything on wheels from unicycles to lawnmowers to cars, and are as likely to be made by members of the general public as by recognized artists. The Art Car Parade is a true public art event, created by the people and for the people. John Milkovich, a retired upholsterer for the Southern Pacific Railroad, started his project, now known as the Beer Can House, in 1968 when he began inlaying thousands of marbles, rocks, and metal pieces into concrete and redwood to form unique landscaping features. Over the next 18 years, the house disappeared under a cover of flattened beer cans for both practical and decorative reasons. Garlands made out of cut beer cans hanging from the roof edges not only made the house sing in the wind, but also lowered the family's energy bills. John considered his work an enjoyable pastime rather than a work of art, but he did enjoy people's reaction to his creations. About 250,000 of Houston's best-kept secrets have been quietly residing within the crevices of Wall Drive Bridge for a number of years. The Wall Bridge Bat Colony remains in Houston throughout the year. The bats usually emerge after dusk each night. However, the time is only really known by the bats themselves. The thickness of the emerging cloud of bats varies from several hundred per minute to several thousand. Prior to emerging from the bridge, the bats chatter social calls to each other among the crevices. Eventually, the bats begin dropping from the crevices, often forming a whirling vortex beneath the bridge. Then, the bats exit the bridge on the east side, often flying along the bayou toward downtown. The Lee and Joe Jamal Skate Park is a state-of-the-art 30,000 square foot in-ground public facility thought to contain the largest cradle in the nation. Clark Condon and Associates of Houston and Gridline, Seattle-based skate park design specialist teamed up to create a park design. Houston's new skateboarding facility provides the first world-class in-ground skate park in our region and has vaulted the city to the forefront of America's venues for this fast-growing, dynamic sport. The park has areas for skaters of all levels, from the seasoned pro to the beginner. Skaters can work on their kickflip, ollie, fakie, big spin, or simply stay balanced. Thank you for choosing Traveling with Pennies. We sure are glad you joined us on our adventure. We'll see you next time. Another day, another place, another adventure. Thank you for choosing Traveling with Pennies. Sorry about the bumpy landing. It's not the captain's fault. It's the co-pilot's fault. Please remain seated until the plane is parked at the gate. At no time in history has a passenger beaten a plane to the gate, so please don't even try. And remember, have a great day. Thank you for flying Traveling with Pennies. Sorry about the bumpy landing. It's not the captain's fault. It's the co-pilot's fault. Please remain seated until the plane is parked at the gate. At no time in history has a passenger beaten a plane to the gate, so don't even try. And please remember, have a great day.